So what you see here is ReadyReturns. We got Magento 1, Magento 2, Woo, Shopify integrations, Woo integrations. You can do an API integration. You can upload a CSV. Many of the big guys do. Some of the biggest guys will tell you it'll take an act of Congress for any kind of API integration to go through. I have a CSV. Can I give you that? Yes. You know, we can set up a thing where they FTP up a order file at the end of every day, goes into the system, and it works. Basically mimics an API integration. It works famously. So this is what it looks like. It's designed to go into the pages of your own site, right? It's one line of code. If you can copy and paste it, then you can add it. And the reason for that being is you never want the customer to go someplace else other than your website to process the return. What Amazon's proven is that 44% of the time, that if you drive that customer back and you give them a good returns policy and a good returns experience, then 44% of the time they will buy something else on your site before leaving. So it's a successful form of upsell. So let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to jump in here, and I've got a demo all set up. I'm going to find my order. This is going to work pretty much the way you expect. Now, it doesn't have to be order number. It can be zip code, email address, a combination of different things. So you can have any number of steps or credentials for the person to see their information. So it brings up the baseball cap. It says if it's a returnable item or not. And so I'm going to select, I'll select the gear bag. All right, and return item. It takes me to the next step where I can have different return types: exchange, refund, warranty, replace, any number of different things. And you can also have different reasons for return associated with the different return types and rules associated with those returns types. It's important to mention that everything in here is steeped in rules, right? So we're not asking anybody to sacrifice the returns policy. We're just telling them to automate your ideal returns policy, right? Don't put the decision making in the hands of your customer service agents. If somebody picks up the phone, it adds more cost to that return. Automate it, bring it online, give people what they expect and are used to, because there are, like I said, 80 million Prime members and everybody's returned something on Amazon before, and you know that's a good experience. So I'm just going to say it was too small. All right, so too small. If it was damaged and I want the customer to upload a picture of it, they can do that. If I'm accepting returns on the part of my retailers and I want a receipt, I can say upload copy of your receipt so I can send a receipt back. You can also have additional comments. So for example, if I was out of the country or whatever, I got the box and all of a sudden it's the wrong thing, but I'm outside my returns policy because I wasn't around, then you can give a comment like that and for additional consideration. Oops, I have to refund. I'm guilty of that. All right, so in the next step, it brings us the confirmation page. That means we're almost done. So ship from Victor. If I'm not Victor, maybe Victor's a buddy of mine, sent me a Christmas gift. I go over here and I can edit it. Everything is, it's worth noting, is the exact same on your mobile device as you see on screen. So they go in and they can change it, they can update it, or they can cancel it. They can now confirm it's a gear bag, it's too small. That's everything about it. There's my comment. Everything looks good. Click submit. People like to buy on mobile, also return on mobile, so it's really important to have that down as well. And assuming everything goes through and there's no additional rules associated with it, then you've got some control here over print the package slip, fold it, find a location near you. This is assuming I'm in Manhattan. And print your label. For those of you that are on a small screen, maybe you're on a laptop, I'll go ahead and blow this up for you. All right, so you can see here, this is the customer's logo. They can drop that in. It will put in who it's coming from, where it's going to. You can have multiple warehouse or even drop shippers. The original order number, the control ID and RMA. The reason has a barcode here of the order number for the receiving warehouse. Over here, you control this as well. So you could put in the 1, 2, 3 steps. Down here, it will give you the information that everybody wants, right? How many warehouses out there right now after the holidays have a pile of returns that they didn't know are coming back? So what this will tell you before you even get the package is how it's coming back, RMA number, it's a refund, what's going to be in the box, how many are going to be there, cost of the item, and down here is your UPS return label. It is a return services label, a premium UPS product. If the packing slip and the shipping label ever get separated, it is identifiable by RMA number down here, and on the label itself, it shows that the sports gear bags, what to expect in the box. Now the back end, let's check out what it looks like over here. That's the customer-facing experience. Of course, you can print it from here. You can print it from your mobile phone. It makes it really easy. From that point on, you can always go back and reference your own packing slips and so on. On the back end, looks like this. So this is going to keep my running count. Let's go ahead and let's get this guy. Right, 103. That's the one we did just moments ago, and you can see I use Victor a lot for my demonstrations. So we jump into Victor. You can see when he did it. You can get a snapshot of who Victor is. As a customer service agent, I can get a view and see exactly what he did. So when I'm talking about sort of forecasting what I'm getting back, you know, I've got a list. I know exactly what came back as is saying what was processed. So now I see, you know, what's coming back from who, what's in the box, and so on. Going over here, let's go back to the page here. You can see that it is, you can track it. You've got the RMA number here, the information on it. Tracking information will take you to a tracking screen. However, it should be noted that just because there is tracking doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get returned. REI did a great study. It was a couple of years ago that, and this is interesting, the longer the returns policy, they found the fewer the returns. And this may be a little more focused towards men than women. But what they found was that people grow attached to their stuff, right? So if I buy a shirt and I don't really like the shirt, but I got a year to return it, it goes in the shelf. And after a while, 6 months down the road, I might still have 6 months left to return it, but it's not part of my things. Whether I ever, even, maybe I'll never wear it. I'm actually guilty of this. Maybe I'll never wear it, but I don't return it. It's up there. I'm used to looking at it, and I keep it. But there are those situations where you want to track what has been sent back versus what has not, right? You've got tracking here, and after a week, this hasn't changed. There's no activity. That's why we have an aging report. Over here on the aging report, you can see exactly what was processed, and you can see here's this guy from 4 minutes ago, right? The aging report shows all returns for the last 90 days, and what it does is you can show shipments received or all shipments or just shipments in transit. So what happens is this status is red until it gets a carrier acceptance scan. As soon as it gets an acceptance scan, it goes green, and then you can track it and know it's coming back. You can export as CSV to know what's coming back versus what hasn't come back, to know exactly who's returning what and what exactly to expect, rather than just have, you know, faith on the tracking number or what have you, that things are going to be coming back your direction. So extremely valuable report. There's also going to be circumstances where people feel more comfortable just calling in. So let's say, for example, I had a question about a product. I called it in, and I decided to buy while I was on the phone with the customer service agent. I go over to customer service. As a customer service agent, I can go in, I can find it by number, I can find it by name, I can find it by zip code, anything like that. And I tap on return, and it's going to bring up probably a lot of results. Yeah. So as I said, I give this one a lot. So here's this one now from 5 minutes ago. So as a return agent, I can now say, well, you know, Victor, you returned this 5 minutes ago. And you can view it just by clicking view. It'll take you back to the packing slip page. So the customer service agent has all the information you do. You know exactly what's going on. I can then re-email it to that person if I want to, or I can continue on and I can process a new return. I'm just going to scroll through this real quickly. There's a lot of results here. All right. Once you scroll through the results, you know, most people won't have that. It'll say what order number you're on, and it will give one page for that customer for that agent to return the item. So now I can select, all right, it's going to be the gear bag. I want a refund. It was damaged. It's just going to be one of these things I'm going to send back. And it's Victor, this is good. Now, it should be noted that there's an email template right here, right? And so when I said earlier that 44% of the time when you drive a customer back to your site and they rebuy something because the return experience was good, what happens when that doesn't happen? You know, what happens when the customer calls you and you don't get that same experience? Well, you still get that final touch. So what you can do is, as you can see, this takes HTML, you can load pictures into it, a number of different things, and this is going to greet you by name, and it's going to give you your package slip and shipping label. So you know this customer called you, and 99% of the time, they're going to open this email, so this is your final touch on that customer to say, sorry, this didn't work out, accept a 10% off, or have you thought about these like products? Maybe these are better for you. It's whatever that might be that you can go ahead and send that email to try and capture, you know, that customer back. Down here, if you're an administrator, you can change the shipping method to be an expedited method. You can also add comments as to why you may be put in that expedited method. Say, had the prom dress had to get swapped out and go back overnight, whatever it might be. So you can do any of these things on this page, and then it's all tracked and marked. Let's scroll back up here. To whomever logged in. I'm logged in as demo. It'll have whoever's name is up here to do that. All right, I'm going to show you, I'm going to jump into the settings. I'm going to show you a couple things. There's a rules manager in here, which is of everyone's interest. I'm also going to show you one of the most requested things that we have, which is payments, right? There's going to be situations where, okay, fine, I'm going to take the item back, but I'm not going to pay for your return shipping. This is common. So even by Amazon, it's common. If it's like buyer's remorse or something else, then they'll go ahead and want to send it back. So we have both Stripe and Bolt. Stripe is fairly common. Bolt is more specialized in fraud prevention. We're just going to turn on Stripe, and then you've got an option where it can be a flat rate, as I have $5 here, or carrier calculated, which means it's going to be the carrier calculated rate adjusted for their for any discounts, and then you can adjust it up or down. You can actually put in minus here, and you can say I'm going to add receiving cost or restocking fee or whatever it might be. But essentially, that's what's going to do at checkout. So let's go through this one more time. I'm going to go back over here. Let's move this guy out of the way. I have a little pop-up over here. All right, and then we're going to collapse this guy back here. We're going to start over. Okay, I'm going to go through the same thing one more time. I'm going to show you what's changed. So we're going to jump through this and show a slight different flow. Turn my gear back. Turn one of these guys. Return is I change reason I changed my mind, and you can actually have this rule triggered by a reason. So if the rule is buyers are, oops, I did it again. If the rule is buyers are my, I just talked too much. If the rule is I just changed my mind or whatever it might be, then buyers remorse, whatever. If it's something that's not product related, right? If the product's fine, then you can go ahead and trigger this next rule. So everything looks good. Fine, I changed my mind. Now it's going to check in the back-end rules, and boom, it brings up a payment. Now this is unobtrusive, right? We know who you are because you've already confirmed all the other information. It's just going to ask you for an email, so we can email you the receipt, your card number, what you're paying for, and so on, and you click pay, and then it takes you to the final label page. Let's see. I think I've got a little more time, so let's go ahead and jump into a few more things. I talked about how easy it is to add, okay? So you go over here to themes. So you can do your theme, and this is our theme, right? We tried back in the day to make it really open, mess around with it, do whatever you want. And some of you guys would come in and say, hey, Chris, you know, show me a site where it looks really good. And it was all over the place, ugly by owner. And we didn't have a good one to show anyone because it was they would mess it up and turn it all sideways. So this is our theme, and the only thing you can do to our theme is change the accent color. If you want to do your own theme, you can do that, and you can upload your CSS here if you have the capability. What we're doing right now is this. When I talked about how you add it to your site, this is it. That's all you have to do. You take this, you add it to your returns page, and you've got full-blown returns just like I showed you. Anybody can do it. I'll show you how to add a integration here just shortly. I'll just breeze through it. So that's how easy that is. Then the next step is setting rules. Let's go jump back over here. Very, very top level rules. We have both actually in-store repair and some other types of rules. flows that you can go through. You can see that we have a number of different return types, as we stated before, and each one of these return types can be rules-based. Start your RMA, right? If you have an RMA system in place today, then you can pick it up where you left off. Very top level rules: do not accept returns when the total value is over $1,000. Maybe you want people to call in under certain circumstances. Do not accept return when it's older than a certain number of days from the shipment date or order date. So automatically track this number of days and disallow the return. This one we did take from Amazon. All items must be returned within, 30 days of creating the packing slip, something like that. So, well, there's no disappearing ink. We can't go back. We can't take back a label that was printed. We can just, what we can do is print on it, must be returned by this day. And then we can go ahead and, so the user's on notice and the company's on notice. And so when they get that, when they get that shipment back and it's past the due date, then they reserve the right to deny it. To get crazy, we go over here. Here's the rules manager. Now going back to Marianne's example, that actually came from a customer. And the customer was Game Day Merchandise. They got bought and there's something else now. But they do the sports fulfillment for Golden State Warriors, Denver Broncos, a couple of hockey franchises. So they did everything from literally from a bobblehead to a pool table with a logo on it, right? So they needed to get granular. They needed to go down here and identify if there's a SKU, what store it's going to go back to, if it's a category that could not be returned. So identify things by different categories. What reasons apply, so you can have a different reason apply to a pool table versus a bobblehead or a garment, right? And any additional rules that apply. So going back to that same example, jerseys, this is a popular one by them, right? You order a jersey and the jersey doesn't fit, but it's a standard jersey, right? You just wanted a, I don't know, Brett Favre jersey, whatever. Then they're going to try that on. Doesn't fit, send it back, get a replacement. But if it has your name on it, number 4 on the front, but your name on it, and you decide you don't want it, well, you still own it, unless you spelled your name wrong, and then maybe they'll take it back. So there's all sorts of different rules that you could put in here based on, is it our fault, is it their fault, what did they buy, was it a custom item, is it a big item, is it a small item, whatever it might be. Setting up warehouses is really easy. You can have as many warehouses as you want. We picked retail locations down here, Scottsdale store, but it could be store-based, it could be warehouse-based, it could be whatever you want. You can have different categories. So divide your products into categories. So it could be types of stuff that maybe you don't want back or handled specially. Reasons. This is where the reasons go. Again, everything is really easy to set up. You basically create a reason group, add your reasons under that group. I actually set sporting goods and made this my global reason group. So whatever I put in the system, these are the guys that pop up, whether it's changed their mind, damaged, and what have you. So if somebody does do a garment versus a pool table, one's going to have a broken leg and one isn't. So you can sort of change things based on popular return reasons that affect those different groups. Now, here's where everything starts coming together, over here under rules. Under rules, and I'm going to do custom item, okay? Custom item, and then I'm going to jump and show you how this thing integrates and open up for questions. Custom item, and that could be custom item, non-returnable, anything non-returnable. I define what it is, and then this is what Game Day did. All right, they put a C dash next to anything that was non-returnable. More common, final sale, right? If there's final sale in the description, then that can be used to block a return. So for example, when all the following are true, when the item has a SKU or description or any of this other information that the system picks up, so it can be description, and when the description contains, equals to, starts with, ends with, what have you, a C. Or more commonly, quote unquote, final sale, then it could prevent the return. If you want to modify that, or maybe that's not the rule you want to implement, then what you can do is you can go, you know what, I'm not going to return I'm going to say I'm going to require a customer fee. Whoops, let's back out of that one real fast. All right, so I'm going to require a customer fee. I'll do this one step at a time. And then I'm going to set the, let's see, return item to the warehouse in Scottsdale. Or if I'm using drop shippers, and I have 1,000 of them, just to be extreme, I can do origin. which means we're going to capture the ship from address that the thing came from, and we're going to send it back where it came from. Then I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to say return item via UPS ground, and boom. So as I said, it's a very open system. You can go in and, given good data, you can do whatever you want. You can go in and you can add basically on a global scale, on a granular scale, how you want to manage your returns policy. Adding it is really easy. This whole thing actually is part of a orders-based CRM system. This is what this looks like, and this is how easy it is to add, okay? So every day you log into something that looks like this. All right, it shows basically what your orders are for the day, how many shipped, do you have any returns, and so on. And then down here is ReadyReturns. It's added in the App Store. So customers can go over here and they can add ReadyReturns from here. Most customers, $99 a month. It is it's a part of CTP. And they basically add it and it appears as ReadyReturns down here on the left. And when you click on it, then it appears within the window. I don't think I've got any data in this one. This is also a demo account I use. Yep, no returns in this one. But it also appears in here, and that gives the full functionality of the product right within it and allows customers to work within. Now, here's the other advantage for customer service, right? What they can do is you can go in, and I set up a filter before our call just to look at returns. So every return is identified by an R1. So basically, I set up a filter, right? I have a filter over here that just shows me returns because I knew I was going to be talking to you guys today. And I can go in and I can click on this guy and it'll show me the return, it was fulfilled, the original order, and so on, and I can get all kinds of information based on that return as well as the customer's order history.
Hey, Chris, we're starting to get some questions in, and we have about 8 minutes left or so. You've started to answer them, but if you're at a decent stopping point, then I thought maybe we can start taking questions.
One thing that you could add too, you want to just say real quick about the mobile features and then CTP. It is part of CTP and CTP pricing. Yeah, it is.
Also, here's a customer. If I can show you one example of guys that did it right. The UPS group in Southern California wanted a local example. Somebody who uses both, has a storefront and sells online. Tall Men Shoes is great. They have a store in Hollywood and they sell a ton of the stuff online. And I think at 200,000 last year, some units, I think 200,000 or 300,000. So a decent shipper. And they drive customers back to the website. You can see it's built in here. They do a decent job of cross promoting over here. They have different terms and conditions that they added below it, which people are free to do. And then they finish it up down here. They did that on their own. So this is some guys that did it well. I just want to leave with that.